huge step forward in between the previous phylum and the arthropods. I mean, it's a tremendous developmental stage, and especially of which system? The nervous system. So all of the members of this family of this phylum are characterized by tremendously active nervous system. The eyes are highly developed, sensation, reactions, especially reactions. Like try to swat a fly, and you'll see just how reactive their nervous system is. The emphasis here is on nervous system, not mind, right? Strategy, nervous system, but the mental faculty is not the emphasis of the phylum. Yeah. So, for the most part, these are people that will have tremendously active nervous systems, and they'll be reactive, intelligent, quick-witted, but they won't be deep intellectuals. Right? Another one of the big themes in the insect family is life and death struggles, and a certain callousness. You finish mating, then you bite the head off and eat the male that just mated with you. It's like this is what happens: life and death, on and off switches. And you'll see this all the way through. So that, like, out of the insects, mostly they what do? They lay their eggs and they go off and they're gone. You know, it's not like they sit around and they nurture their young and so forth. With the exception of the Hymenoptera group, the bees especially. Hymenoptera include bees, wasps, ants. All the ants are Hymenoptera. And so these groups are much more nurturing, and therefore we expect the same in their behavior as remedies. Apis is much more maternal, let's say, than tarantula or Arania. It's much more nurturing, but it nurtures. Think of the way that the bees nurture the young bees. It's kind of businesslike, isn't it? It's not quite a factory, but on the other hand, it's not quite a family. It's maybe like an orphanage or something. It's like, you know, it sort of has that quality to it.
During one of those crazy quarrels, Caleb got so angry he slammed out of the house, hating his wife from top to bottom, and she, for her part, screamed after him the most odious insults that came to her mouth. Caleb went crashing into the forest by their house, pondering why he had married such a cantankerous hotty-dotty. But after he'd walked a while, his fury had faded, and he couldn't remember what it was they had quarreled about. He could only remember that he loved her. He could only remember her dimples and her sweet ways and what fragrant noodle pudding she made. Months passed in their proper order. From time to time, Caleb was drawn back to the place where he'd turned into a dog. He hoped he might find some clue to the secret of his transformation. Winter came. Snow fell. It was 8 months since Caleb had become a dog. He kept warm near the glowing fireplace, dozing much of the day. He watched Kate move through the house, hopeless now about ever being able to reveal his true self. And what if she did learn who he was? Would it make it happier? Well, she would know that he hadn't deserted her, but would she relish having a dog for a husband? He decided she wouldn't. So I'm going to save the rest for the end. And that's really all you need to know about Lacaninum, but we'll go into it in a little bit more detail. A remedy that originated with strong applications for physical illness, particularly severe sore throats, especially diphtheria, and forms of rheumatism. And we have greater scope of its application when we understand the mental and emotional states associated with the remedy. And there's different ways that I think of this. I think of it as a pack creature in a foreign land. Caleb in a human house. Being is a dog. It has animal nature, which it shares with a lot of animals, and it has the particular nature of a dog. And so it's the dog looking for its pack among humans, not with other dogs, although there's certainly some of that. We think of Baryta carbonica as the main salt. Magnesia carbonica is the main salt. I have discovered that Baryta carbonica is not the main one, interestingly enough. It seems, in my experience, that Baryta arsenicosa is actually more common, and it seems that combination, Baryta and arsenicum, seems to be more common now than Baryta carbonica. So I'm going to talk about all the Barytas together. I want you to have fluidity in your mind in thinking about these remedies. So that's number one. Number two, this remedy picture is actually very easy. Many of the remedy pictures are very convoluted, complex, difficult, really takes some time to get an understanding of them. But with the Barytas, it's really relatively easy. And even all the different books, all the different lectures, they all pretty much agree on the Baryta, which is really something. The main picture, the main feeling with the Barytas is this feeling of insufficiency. Insufficiency, smallness. Insufficiency, smallness, needing protection and security. And there's three main areas that we'll see in this remedy. Number one is kind of this picture, the insufficiency, the needing protection. There's a kind of passive simplicity in these people. And it's evident from childhood through old age.